All right, hello, this is Mr. Hammer from Ten Oaks Middle School again to help you once again on your all-county auditions for cellos. So we're going to start with the scales. This is middle school. I have the scale sheets here. Remember, the judges will pick the scale on the day of the audition, so you need to be prepared for all 5 of these scales on the sheets. The C major 2 octave, G major 2 octave, D major 2 octave, A major 2 octave, or 1 octave, I'm sorry, for A major, and F major 1 octave. So I'm just going to play through those really quickly. The scale sheets that are on, that you can get from your teacher, have great fingerings for them, so just ask for that sheet. All right, here we go. So C major 2 octave scale, and remember this is where you can show off your best tone quality in a nice controlled way. You don't want to go too slow, but you don't want to go so fast that you don't get to show off that tone. If you've got vibrato, certainly go ahead and use it here on the scale. All right, C major. How I was using a lot of bow. I wasn't using very short bows, right? We want to use long bows. It'll give a nice full sound. And again, it's all about showing off that nice tone and intonation that you have. Okay, G major, 2 octave. This one has a shift. When we shift, I like to tell my students to think about their elbow making a half circle in the air. So we have 1 shift in this scale, and I would recommend strongly you practice this kind of motion on any kind of shifting you're doing, whether it be a big shift or a small shift. So it looks like this. And the same thing on the way back. I'm going like this up and like this back, instead of just, that's kind of like stabbing at the shift, and it's not a very accurate way to shift. All right, here's G major. D major 2 octave. No shifting in this one, but we do have extensions on the C string for F sharp and on the G string for C sharp. So what that means is, instead of putting 3 where E would be on the C string, you put a 2 there where E would be. That way your 4th finger is automatically pushed a little bit higher, or sharp, right, into F sharp. So it looks like this. That's not quite in tune. Still do have to reach that 4th finger a little bit higher, but it's already kind of pushed up there by extending the 2, right? And that's why we call it extended position. Same thing on the G string for the C sharp. Right? We want that 4th finger nice and high for C sharp. And then on the D string and the A string, it's just regular 3rd finger for F sharp and 3rd finger for C sharp on the A string. So, keep that in mind. Extensions on C and G strings, and then regular open 1, 3, 4, open 1, 3, 4 for the D and the A string on this scale, the D major scale, 2 octaves. Here we go. A major is very similar in the fact that we're extending, this time on the G string and the D string, and they only require for middle school all county 1 octave on the A major, should they choose the scale. So you're just extending just like we did on the G string, but you're also doing that same fingering on the D string. So 2 is where F sharp would be, and then your 4th finger is pushed a little bit higher for G sharp. So again, 3 sharps in A major, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Here's what it sounds like. F major. All right, so F major, 1 flat, and it is B flat, so that means a 2nd finger on the G string for B flat, and a 2nd finger on the D string for F natural. Okay, so we don't have any 3s in this scale, it's just 2nd finger on the G string and 2nd finger on the D string for the 1 octave F major scale. And it starts 4th finger on the C string, goes like this. Scales that are possible. Let's go into the excerpts now. All right, so now we have our excerpts for middle school cello, and the first one is Fantasia on an Original Theme by Joseph Phillips. The tempo is andante. I like to think of that as a walking speed, so 1, 2, 3, 4. If you were just walking down the sidewalk at a nice relaxed pace, 2, 3, 4, not too fast, but not too slow. All right, let's look for some things here. First of all, rhythmically, you want to be subdividing because you have 1/8 notes and half notes in the beginning, and then you have some dotted quarter and 8ths, and some dotted 8ths and 16ths. So you want to be subdividing in your head. What does that look like? Well, at the beginning, at measure 17, you want to be thinking 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And then at measure 27, you want to be thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and. So when you have the dotted 8th, 16th, it's 1 E and then the 16th is up. So again, 27 and 28 are, I'll clap it out for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and is measure 28. Here's what it sounds like. 27. Okay, so now I'm going to play the whole excerpt. Some other things to keep in mind on these half notes at the beginning, please, if you can, vibrate on them and make sure you sustain your sound all the way into the next measure. You don't want to hear the half notes die away like this. Or worse yet, even stop the sound, right? It's not a quarter note, it's a half note, so you want to hear it sustained. Let's listen to the whole excerpt now with the dotted rhythms subdividing, okay? Ready, and I'll probably count out loud in some of it, so here we go. Sustain. Mistake right there. That slur goes all the way into the 5th note of the bar of 22. So, right? Okay. Now the next part, 23. Okay. Resting for a measure and 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and couple of things to keep in mind are the subdividing, vibrating where you can, follow the bowings. Now I'm going to play the whole excerpt one more time, no talking or anything like that. But count carefully. If you play this excerpt and judges don't say skip over the rest at 25, you've got to count that in your head steadily. The judges will be listening for, full-on counting of the rest, not just skipping over the rest, because you can't skip over the rest in a rehearsal or a performance, right? You got to count the rest. So count carefully, keep your tempo steady. 1, 2, 3, and. I'm sorry. One more thing. If you feel like you want to shift up and avoid open A strings, you can do that here. So the alternate fingering would be 1, 1, 1, 3, 4. Open, open, 1, 2, 4. 1, 1, 1, 3, 4. Open, open, 1, 2, 4. 1, 1, 1, 3, 4. Open, open, 1, 2, 4. You could do that to avoid those open A's. You could also stay up in third and fourth position and avoid the open G's and D's as well. If you wanted to play the whole thing up in position, you would start on the C string in fourth position, third finger on the A. 3, 3, 1, 3, 4. Then I would shift back if you're going to stay up here and go 2, 2, 1, 2, 4. Then the same thing again, back up to fourth position, 3, 3, 1, 3, 4. 2, 2, 1, 2, 4. Again, that's entirely up to you and what you're comfortable doing. The end goal, the primary goal anytime you're doing an audition is intonation and rhythm first and dynamics. If you can get that vibrato in there on notes instead of open strings, that's a bonus and it shows off a really mature sound, but intonation is the most important part. Intonation, then rhythm, then dynamics, okay? So with that in mind, I'm just going to play it in a combination of first position and shifting up so that I can vibrate on as much as possible. All right, here I go now. 1, 2, 3. Excerpt 2, Feel It Still, is faster, and the notes are not particularly difficult, but the rhythm is tricky, and that's why this is an excerpt. So let's talk a little bit about these syncopated rhythms first. The first example is at measure 42. So again, subdivide. So you're going to think 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 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 1, right? So it's on the and of 2 in both measures, but then every other measure is slightly different. In 42, it ties into a half note, and in 43, it goes tied into a quarter, and then you do a separate quarter on beat 4. So again, that rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 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 1, and it does that over and over again. There's accents on that and of 2 each time, so really bring those out to show that you have that rhythm solid. But subdivide, keep that pulse going inside. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? A couple of times, like in measure 41, you have on the and of 4 a pickup note into 42, and it happens going into 50 as well. That rhythm is rest. Right. So, if you need to, I would clap through this whole thing. rhythm-wise, before you even try it with the bow. And then I would pizzicato it, just to get the left hand comfortable with the notes, although they're not that difficult, and then add the bow in with the left hand in order to get the rhythm and the notes in sync with each other. So that's how I would break it down. I'm not going to go through all of that right now, but I will clap it one time, the whole rhythm, and then I'll play it with the bow one time. I'll skip the pizzicato step. So here's the beginning. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and rest. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 Rest. All right. So that's the rhythm of this one, and keep this in mind, that is a goal tempo, what I just did. You practice it at whatever speed you can get all of the rhythms and the notes correctly, and then you build on your speed from there with a metronome. Okay, don't try to go at it right at that tempo that I just did now, right from the get-go. You've got to get everything comfortable and at a slow tempo, and then you gradually build it up. I would say you need to be practicing every day, first of all, but I would set a goal tempo each day. So if you started with the metronome at like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2. By the end of your practice session that day, try to go 2, 3, up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Right? Just set little goals each day. And that way, before you know it, you're up to tempo rather than trying to jump from slow to tempo all at once and feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. All right, so here's what the whole excerpt sounds like. Like I said, the notes aren't that difficult. There's only a few pitches in here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, what is the other articulation we see? We see staccato dots on some of those quarter notes. So you want to be mindful of those and do those, because with the notes being so simple as they are, rhythm and articulation are the one thing that we're going to look for, judges are going to look for on this, okay? It's fortissimo and forte, so there's not much dynamics happening. So articulations are important and rhythm is very important, in addition to the intonation. All right. That is both your excerpts and your scales, so I hope this was helpful. Have a great audition.